You listen to English every day, but when you need to think, your mind still uses your native language. Today, I will show you why this happens and how to change it. The truth, you are not really thinking in English. Let me ask you a few very simple questions. How many English videos do you listen to every week? How many podcasts, lessons, or short clips do you play in the background? How many hours have you spent listening to English? Maybe the answer is a lot. Maybe every day. And yet, when someone speaks to you in real life, what happens? You understand, but slowly. You hear the words, but you translate them in your head. You feel tired after just a short conversation. Sometimes you even think, why am I so slow? I listen so much, but my brain feels heavy. If this feels familiar, I want you to relax. Because the problem is not your listening. The problem is not your effort. And the problem is not your intelligence. The problem is how your brain is trained. Most English learners believe this idea. If I listen more, one day I will think in English. But for many people, that day never comes. They listen. They understand more. But inside their mind, the thinking language never changes. And no one explains why. Listening a lot is not the same as thinking in English. Here is the truth, and please listen carefully. Your brain loves comfort. Your native language is fast. It is safe. It feels natural. English, on the other hand, feels slow. It feels unclear. Sometimes it feels stressful. So when you listen to English, your brain tries to protect you. It chooses the easiest path. And this is what usually happens. You listen in English. You think in your native language. Then you translate back to English. All of this happens very fast. So fast that you don't even notice it. But this habit is very important because your brain is not learning to think in English. It is learning to translate. Let me give you a simple picture. It is like watching a movie with subtitles. You hear English, but your brain reads another language. After a while, you understand the story. But if someone turns off the subtitles, you feel lost. Not because the movie is hard, but because your brain never practiced watching without help. This is exactly how many learners listen to English. They hear the sounds, but the thinking happens somewhere else. And when they realize this, many people say, "Oh, this is exactly me." The real problem, you are practicing listening the wrong way. Most learners are not lazy. They are not weak. They're just practicing in a way that keeps the brain passive. Think about how you usually listen to English. You listen to long videos. You listen while cooking, cleaning, or scrolling on your phone. You let the video play, but your mind is not fully there. You don't react. You don't answer. You don't stop and think. English becomes background noise. And the brain learns one simple message: I don't need to do anything. But language does not change in a passive brain. Your brain changes when it needs to react, when it needs to choose meaning, when it needs to stay present. If you only listen without thinking, your brain stays in its old habit. Your brain stays comfortable. And comfortable brains do not change language. This is why many learners say, I understand English, but I can't think in English. Understanding is passive. Thinking is active. And most listening practice never trains thinking. The good news, your brain can be trained. And this part is very important. You do not need more words. You do not need faster listening. You do not need to be smart. You don't need to listen for hours every day. What you really need is very simple. You need short input. You need slow thinking. And you need daily repetition. That's it. Your brain is not a machine. It is a habit system. And habits change with small, clear, repeated actions. When you give your brain short English sentences and you give it time to think in English, your brain starts to feel safe. It stops rushing. It stops translating so much. Little by little, English becomes a thinking language, not just a listening language. This change does not feel dramatic. It feels quiet. One day, you notice something small. You hear a sentence and you understand it without translating. That is the moment your brain begins to change. And in the final part of this video, I will show you exactly how to train this habit, step by step, calmly, and every day. The core principle: think first, not translate. Now, let's set a new rule. From this moment on, we are not training translation. We are training thinking. And to do that, we follow 3 simple principles. The first principle is this: simple English is powerful. Many learners believe that simple English is not real English. They think simple sentences are too easy, too basic, too childish. But your brain does not learn through difficulty. Your brain learns through clarity. When English is simple, your brain does not panic. It does not rush to translate. It stays present. Simple English gives your brain space to think. The second principle is this: slow thinking is correct thinking. Fast thinking feels impressive, but fast thinking often comes from translation. Slow thinking feels uncomfortable at first, but slow thinking is honest thinking. When you slow down, you give your brain time to stay in English. You are not late. You are not behind. You are learning correctly. And the third principle is this: repetition builds thinking habits. Your brain does not change from one big lesson. It changes from small actions done many times. When you repeat simple sentences, your brain stops asking, "What does this mean?" Instead, it starts saying, "Oh, I know this." And that is how thinking habits are built. So, remember this key idea. Thinking in English is a habit, not a talent. If it is a habit, it can be trained. And if it can be trained, anyone can do it. Your brain learns through safety. Now let's talk about something very important. Your brain blocks English when you feel stress. This is not a personal problem. This is how the human brain works. When you feel nervous, your body tightens. Your breathing changes. Your mind wants to escape. And English disappears. That is why calm learning is powerful. A calm voice opens the brain. A slow voice creates clear thinking. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to judge yourself. Speak gently. Think kindly. Let your brain learn. When your brain feels safe, it stops fighting English. It starts listening. It starts connecting meaning. It starts thinking. This is why our practice today is slow. This is why our sentences are simple. Not because you are weak, but because your brain learns best this way. A daily 15-minute habit you can really do. Now let me show you a daily habit. This habit is simple. It is realistic. And it works. You don't need 1 hour. You don't need a long lesson. You only need about 15 minutes. Here is the routine. First, listen to 5 to 10 short sentences. Second, pause. Third, think in English. Not translate. Just understand the idea. Fourth, answer slowly. Your answer can be short. That is okay. 15 minutes every day is enough to change how you think. Not all at once, but little by little. Now let's practice together. Main practice. Train your brain through listening. 1. Listen and think.
Do not speak yet.
Do not translate. Just listen and picture the idea. Listen. I wake up early. I drink water. I feel calm. I sit at home. I listen carefully. I practice English. I have time. I feel relaxed. I breathe slowly. I smile. Good. Your job was not to repeat. Your job was to understand. Now, let's go one step further. 2. Think in groups. English thinking is not word by word. It is idea by idea. Listen to the grouped ideas. In the morning, I wake up early. I drink water and feel calm. I sit at home and listen carefully. I practice English and take my time. I breathe slowly and feel relaxed. I listen, understand, and stay calm. I have time to think. I feel safe when I listen. I enjoy simple English. I learn step by step. Notice something important. The sentences are still simple, but the thinking is smoother. This is how your brain likes to learn. 3. Add one idea. Now we train expansion. We start small. Then we add one idea. Listen. I listen to English. I listen to English every day. I listen to English every day at home. Another one. I study English. I study English in the morning. I study English in the morning at home. One more. I think in English. I think in English slowly. I think in English slowly every day. Do you feel the pattern? We are not rushing. We are building thinking. 4. Reacting practice. Now we practice reacting. Listen to the question. Then answer slowly. Do you listen to English every day? Yes, I listen every day. Do you study English at home? Yes, I study at home. Do you feel calm when you listen? Yes, I feel calm. Do you take your time? Yes, I take my time. Do you think in English? Yes, I think in English. There is no rush. Your brain is learning to respond in English. 5. Short flow practice. Now, let's practice flow. 2 or 3 sentences. Slow rhythm. No stopping between words. Listen first. I wake up early. I listen carefully. I think in English. Now say it with me. I wake up early. I listen carefully. I think in English. Another one. I sit at home. I feel calm. I practice English. One more. I take my time. I think clearly. I feel confident. Very good. Flow is not speed. Flow is calm movement. Now, let's finish with the truth. You don't need to think fast. You need to think clearly. Thinking in English starts small. One sentence. One idea. Every day. And before we end, say this with me. I allow myself to think slowly. I allow myself to be simple. I allow my brain to learn English. English is not just a language you hear. It is a way you think. And that way can change, starting today.